Rupert, I mean, Prince Andrew is not exactly everyone's favourite royal. He is the black sheep of the family, to put it lightly, rather ostracised, stripped of his titles and positions in recent years. And now with these fresh allegations, he is just a headache the royal family really don't need.
Yeah, but he's far more of a headache than Meghan and Harry. That is a soap opera with the sort of family breakdown between the Sussexes and the royal family. This is a far more serious problem, for the royal family to deal with, because these are very serious allegations. And obviously, he's already paid $12 million to Virginia Jeffrey to try and, with an out-of-court settlement. But now with further revelations, it just adds to the situation of how do they deal with the problem that is Prince Andrew. And it really is a problem, because these allegations keep surfacing. And obviously, when we get revelations about some of the other names that might be linked to this in a couple of weeks' time, it will always compound the problem. So the royal family, in terms of dealing with the Harry and Meghan one, well, that's relatively straightforward. That's just a family having a few war in a way. But this is different. And how does the royal family manage those optics through Christmas and going forward? Because we only tend to see him now at the sort of the private public functions, i.e. appearing at Christmas Day for the walk to church and those kind of occasions. And we, of course, have seen him at the coronation, and we've seen him at the funeral. Occasionally we see him driving his Range Rover around and riding a horse in Windsor Great Park. But aside from that, we don't see him. And this is the problem for the royal family. They've got a real issue here as to how they manage going forward and the story around Andrew.
Well, this time last year, if I've got this right, the royal family did allow Andrew to join them for the Christmas Day service. So there's that famous walk they make to the church where they sort of chat to the public who've come to see them on that special day. So he was sort of allowed back into the fold. I think the public mood this year might be urging King Charles not to let him do this. I mean, the specific claims against him that are likely to be unearthed, as it were, or shall I say, revisited with the release of these names and these documents. So they're not brand new, but they relate to Jeffrey Epstein's former personal assistant, Johanna Sjoberg, and she claims that the Duke of York groped her breasts while they were sitting on a sofa for a picture. It's all very sordid. And the thing is, Rupert, day in, day out, this guy with this sort of revelation brings more shame on the royal family. It gives them the spectre of disgrace. I don't think we want to see it. So I do feel that the king, who will want to say he's still a member of our family, he's still my brother, but I do feel the king is going to have to get tough this year.
He probably will have to. Look, he's going up to Sandringham to spend Christmas with the family. He's not staying in Sandringham House, but he's going to be there. And so they will have a family Christmas. But in terms of the public side of it, I don't think the royal family want, because inevitably the pictures won't be talking about the king and queen. It'll be talking about, well, there's the Duke of York. And given all what's going on at the moment, I'm not sure the royal family are trying to run away from the issue, but clearly it doesn't add, when he's already spent $12 million, and no, that never went to court, but it was an out-of-court settlement, because the royal family, in many ways, don't want the spotlight. But Prince Andrew, unfortunately, keeps putting them in the spotlight with what he did all those years ago, or alleged to have done all those years ago, which, of course, he vehemently denies. But then when you cough up $12 million, well, presumably,
that's the
to stop it going to court.
That's the point. He denies vehemently, as you say, all of these allegations against him, and every single person in the world, including the king, are saying, well, if you're completely innocent of these allegations, what on earth are you giving Virginia Giuffre $12 million for? And I think the problem with Andrew, he's been sort of allowed back now and again into the spotlight, like at the coronation. And he tends to milk these occasions, hogging the cameras, chatting to the public. And we don't want that at Sandringham. So this is the difficulty, isn't it?
Yeah, and, obviously he's been stripped of all his military patronages and all his other and he's basically in isolation. But he does come up, and of course he does like that adulation, and when he was in and liked his status, but clearly that has been taken away from him, and he has no chance until he can clear his name once and for all of being rehabilitated in the eyes of the British public, because these allegations are too serious to ignore, and he has to maybe face the consequences. Well, he has already, by the fact that he's not able to fulfill his duty within the royal family, because they're now down to, it's not quite the bare minimum, but basically the heavy lifting is now done by the Waleses, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, and of course the King and Queen, and one or two others. But that's it. And so the royal family have been left in, short of people who can help promote them. But because, well, one group of people have decided to cut themselves off because they didn't like it, and the other, because of these allegations, has had to take a back step. And it's really all because of his maybe arrogance with his choice of friends and how he got himself into this situation that has led to his problems going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this idea that he could be rehabilitated in the eyes of the British public. I think that's a long way off, and he should be encouraged to go and search for his privacy in Montecito. And perhaps when he's there, say thank you to Harry and Meghan, because surely, actually, without the whole drama of Megxit, the Prince Andrew allegations would have been even more serious in terms of creating an even bigger storm.
Yeah, well, the Sussex ones just feels like a soap opera. It's a family that has basically decided to go their different ways, and that's up to them. But of course, there's all the fallout from the books and the documentaries, et cetera, having a pop at the institution. But there's no two ways about it. What Prince Andrew has created are some very serious problems for the royal family. And yes, they've been able to slightly distance themselves, but because this has now come forward again, it's put the spotlight firmly back on the Duke of York and his what went on all those years ago. And that, unfortunately, is not what the king wants. He's now into his second year as king of this country, and he's got yet more issues to try and deal with as he tries to continue his position in as a positive way as possible. But inevitably, the stories now seem to be focusing on the drama that is out there